What's going on, boys? In today's video we're going to go over the 4222 custom tactics and instructions. We're going to go over the 4222 tactics for both old gen and new gen. I've tested this out as well and it does work pretty well. I kind of got inspired by a few players. I know some of you guys have been waiting for this formation video. The main thing to realize with this formation, everyone always forgets, is don't forget, although it looks like central cams, this is wide cams in this formation. A lot of the reason why people don't make this formation work too well is because they forget these are wide cams, and they also forget that these CDMs are a bit too far away. That is why people find the 442 easier to use, because sometimes it's hard to bring the CDMs into play, but we'll go over that in a second. Now let's go straight into the tactics. The first one, the defense style, we left it unbalanced. Even after the patch, there hasn't been that much changing. You know, you could use, for example, a more conservative pressure on heavy huts, for example. It's not the end of the world. You don't need to use any of the pressing tactics because 70 depth still works. In fact, if you use 71 depth, it still works. Try this inside a game. Yes, I agree in certain areas, for example, down the wing, maybe you can argue it's been nerfed, but it's not been nerfed significantly enough. It's like a small minor difference. That's why you still experience troubles with pressure. So yes, they've nerfed it, but only a certain amount, not much to be that noticeable to the average player, only from wide areas in my opinion. So there's no need to use pressure on heavy touch. We left it on balance, and we've just increased the width to 55. That way we're just a bit more wider when we're out of possession and we're in the defensive shape, so we can pressure the ball. And that goes along with 71. That's still very effective, so you can use that. Now for the build-up play, we actually gone with balanced. Some people do prefer, and to be honest, you might have seen a lot of my formation videos, I preferred always long ball. Well, don't forget, long ball just means basically getting behind. So when you have the ball, especially with these wide cams, there isn't a getting behind option. A lot of people find that this formation gets very static. That's another problem as well. Not only is there people who have players here that are not really the quickest on the ball, which is a big problem. You can't put cams, you can't put KDB here. You got to put players that are quick and that can run in behind and create space. That's issue number one. But issue number two is triggering them. Without long ball, you got to trigger them manually with the L1 button. So you can use long ball if you don't use the L1 button enough. The key thing is when you get the ball, for example, to your center mid, you have to trigger your cam already. That is the big problem with this formation. That's why people find this formation to be very difficult to play. They much prefer, for example, in a 440 flat, where you simply get it behind those players, make those runs going forward. But I like the way the 4222 plays. But build-up play, I've left it unbalanced. Again, if you do experience the problem with the build-up play, please do put long ball on. For the chance creation, we've gone with the classic direct passing. You see a lot of the pro players also run this 4222 variation with direct passing. I still think it's very effective. To be honest, I've actually used both direct passing and forward runs. Again, another formation, because quite similar. Don't forget, this is basically a 4-2-3-1. If I drop a cam over here, that is basically a 4-2-3-1 in formation. So effectively, it's the same as a 4-2-3-1. You just lose that defensive midfielder, which is a cam player, I would say, that defensive cam midfielder that sits back in the cam position when you're defending and ends up becoming a striker. So very similar to a 4-2-2-2. For the width, we go with 45. And don't forget as well, it is basically a 4-4-2. So we're just kind of getting these guys in the position where they're wide enough to get the ball and run down the wing, but also where you can, if you want to, do those trivellas, do those finesses, whatever you prefer from long range, especially outside the box. That's what's very important in terms of that. Then we're going to go over to the players in the box. That's on 7. And corners and free kicks, you can adjust this however you want to. It is completely up to you. If you do want to get better at FIFA 23, I do have a FIFA School Series, but just before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say that because I've been running my paid advanced in-depth FIFA School Series successfully for many years, and thousands of others have joined already and still stay on. This is for all levels of those that want to improve on FIFA, and you won't find these videos on my YouTube channel. These videos are a progressive systematic learning system that teaches you everything from the core mechanics of FIFA to the meta, so you can get better at FIFA as a whole, not just this game, with examples and explanations that go beyond the scope of the YouTube videos. With new videos coming out every single week, these videos also adjust to recent updates and patches so you can stay up to date. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better. Patreon.com/NilGuides, link is down below in the description. Now when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos that are specifically made for both new gen and old gen, with new videos in FIFA 23 getting added every single week. We also have an additional group coaching as well that we started this year due to high demand and high request. And don't forget guys, it's a money back guarantee, so if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. That is the Nil Guides guarantee. Anyway, link is down below in the description, patreon.com/Nil Guides. But anyway, back to the video. Now going over to the instructions. So this is somewhat important. So both the strikers on stay central, get in behind, and come back in offense. Come back in defense is important because when you're pressing, you want your players to be behind the ball. Remember, don't make the mistake of putting this on stay forward. When you're pressing, you want to press the ball together as a unit. So we've definitely gone here with come back in offense, stay central so they don't go anywhere else, and then get it behind. You can use a combination of someone that's like, for example, agile and nimble, and someone that's a bit more rigid. Someone that's agile and someone that's rigid is a good combination. I would say don't go for two rigid players here, in my personal opinion. You can go with two agile, that's fine. But be careful, you don't want to go with two players too rigid, and you can always put one that plays, especially the player that maybe isn't as quick. You can put them on balanced, that way they don't get forward. This does depend on how you play. Now the cams, the question I get asked a lot. Come back in defense is what I've gone. We've gone neutral on the support on the crossing situations because we already have over here 7 players inside the box. So that's what we've got neutral on that. Now, the big question I get asked is it worth using free roam? Now, see, the problem is with free roam, it's not what you think, like how in real life is that these players just roam about. They don't. In fact, I find free roam to be almost sometimes useless. In some formations where you have like a 4-2-3-1 and you have 3 cams, if they're all on a free roam, for example, if all of them want free roam, then it's fine. They can interchange positions. But sometimes, for example, you may not want your cam to move out of position. So you can use free roam. They're not going to go into these, they're going to be out of position sometimes, and they'll be in the vicinity. Sometimes you might see them, for example, roll into the center. It does work from that situation. So that's the question people ask me about free roam. I would say if you want consistency, I would use balanced. I'd only really go to free roam if I had 3 cams, for example, one, or for example, more importantly, I would say for someone that's more possession based. If you're a possession based player, and to be honest, you're probably better off using slow build up play and then maybe even possession in the final third, then it's something you can use in free roam combination. Otherwise, for the mass majority, I would not recommend free roam. I do personally feel it takes more out of the game for you rather than aiding you, just because they're not in a consistent position. Especially if you're under pressure, you won't know how to bring a player close, because you got to know how to bring a player close, push a player away with L1 button, bring a player close with R1 button. So you can go just fast players here, it's completely fine, mainly wingers. 2 CDMs, both of them on cut passing lanes cover center. However, the most attacking option, do put that player on get forward. This will help you push a player forward inside the box, especially when you're kind of going and you're attacking and you're finding that you're not getting enough players inside the box. This can be the third player. You got to be a bit patient with this player. Get forward basically pushes them forward every single time. If you don't like that, you can always put on balance. Remember, as I always told you, always adjust the formation for your playstyle. Just because you might see X or Y pro player do this, it doesn't mean that necessarily works for you. Always try it first yourself, see what you think about it, and if you like it, then keep it. Otherwise, if not, adapt it. The key thing about being successful with tactics is always adapting it for your playstyle. It's not about copying and pasting anymore, guys. Stay back for both the centre backs. The goalkeeper I have left unbalanced, and both the left back and the right back, let them on stay back, and you want to put overlap on as well. That way, if they do make the runs, they do make the overlapping runs on the outside. You never want to push them on the inside. That's why sometimes if you use free roam and you have these players get forward, you can sometimes find that your wingers, they go on the outside. You want your wingers to be on the inside, and you want your fullbacks to give you the overlap and provide the width. Could you use balance with both the left back and right back? I think you can, but I think this is not the formation to do so. I think you're better off just leaving them on stay back. And if you need to, you can always press the L1 button to push them forward going manually. Anyways, that is the 4-2-2 custom tactics and formation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. And don't forget, guys, if you want to get better at FC24 or FIFA, you can come to my Patreon series, patreon.com/Nil Guides. You can come to my FIFA School Series. If you don't get better after 1 month, we will refund your money. That is the Nil Guides guarantee. Perfect, take your gameplay to the next level. And if you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. That's it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy. Link is down below in the description. And I'll catch you next time. Peace out.